Welcome to The Deep Dive. We sift through compelling sources to bring you, well, the most powerful insights, tailored just for you. Today we're tracing a really extraordinary path, the unconventional journey of Sir Richard Branson. You know, the man behind Virgin. We're diving into some fascinating interview excerpts, originally from Dream Chasers, to uncover the surprising lessons he picked up. Our mission: to figure out how a kid who struggled with dyslexia, famously dropped out of school and always seemed to defy the odds, built this iconic brand, Virgin, from music all the way to space. I mean, imagine being told you won't make it in school, and then years later, you're looking down at Earth from your own spacecraft. That's where it gets really interesting.
It really is. And what's so striking about Branson's story, isn't it, is that it's more than just business success. It's a testament to reimagining what's possible, especially when you're told you have limitations.
Exactly.
He'll be digging into those unexpected twists, those moments where, what most people see as a weakness, he somehow turned into a real strength.
Yeah.
This dive, I think, has real aha moment potential for anyone who's ever felt like an underdog or been told, you just can't do that.
Okay, Sophia here. Let's unpack this, starting right at the beginning, because Branson's early life wasn't exactly a smooth ride to success. He's been very open about how tough school was for him, mainly because of severe dyslexia.
Right.
He actually described reading and writing like climbing mountains every day. Back then, people didn't really get it, so teachers often thought he was just lazy or careless.
A common misunderstanding, unfortunately.
But even with all that frustration, he was apparently incredibly curious, loved connecting with people, always full of ideas. He called that his real education. It feels like not fitting into that classroom box actually triggered this key thought for him. Okay, if I can't succeed here, maybe I can succeed somewhere else.
And what's so insightful there, I think, is that this struggle with dyslexia wasn't just a detour. It actually it hardwired a unique way of thinking, almost an advantage. Well, because he couldn't easily process information linearly, like most of his classmates, he developed this amazing ability to see the bigger picture, to simplify complex things, spot patterns, see opportunities where others just saw, noise. So it wasn't just about finding another path. It fundamentally changed how he solved problems. It made him a natural disruptor, really, because he had to think outside those standard structures from the start.
That's a really powerful perspective, not just a weakness, but a different kind of strength. So with this unique mindset shaping up, where did he go next?
Straight out of school.
Yeah.
Right. Left at 15 or 16.
Yeah, incredibly young.
And he said it wasn't fear driving him, but pure excitement for his magazine project, Student.
Get a magazine, yeah.
His goal was pretty clear. Give young people a voice on politics, culture, music stuff that wasn't really covered for them back then.
Filling a gap he saw.
And he gives a lot of credit to his mother's influence. He often mentions her saying she hated the words, "I can't." She would say, "Find a way, Richard. There's always a way."
That's powerful backing. Definitely. That kind of belief, plus his own energy, must have really fueled those early steps.
And if you look at Student magazine in the grand scheme of things, it did make him rich, not by a long shot.
Right.
But it was like this incredibly valuable real-world education. He learned practical stuff, sure, how to write, publish, manage a small team, often just figuring it out as he went.
Learning by doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But maybe more importantly, he learned how to solve problems creatively, especially when resources were tight. And wrestling with those problems led him to notice something else.
What was that?
That music records were too expensive. Just a simple observation, really probably born from trying to keep the magazine afloat, but it pointed directly to his next big thing.
Virgin Records, which again started super small, didn't it? Like a mail order thing from a basement.
Literally.
Yeah.
Selling records cheaper, direct to customers.
And people loved it because he hit on a real pain point price.
Absolutely. It addressed a need.
And from that basement, it just grew. They opened a shop, then took this huge leap into launching their own label, a massive risk, and almost immediately hit it big with Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells, an instrumental album of all things.
Which was totally unexpected.
Then, not long after, they signed the Sex Pistols. Super controversial, super rebellious. Suddenly, this little upstart was going head-to-head with the giants of the music industry.
And the magic there, if you can call it that, wasn't just about selling cheaper records. It was about identity. Virgin cultivated this whole persona.
What do you mean?
Well, Virgin wasn't just a shop or a label. It stood for something. It felt rebellious, different, fresh. It represented a kind of counterculture.
Right, anti-establishment.
Exactly. They deliberately took risks on artists others wouldn't touch. They embraced the unconventional. It wasn't just clever marketing, it felt authentic. It built this incredible loyalty because customers felt like they were part of something, part of challenging the old guard.
That makes sense.
And it really makes you think, doesn't it? How embodying a truly distinct, maybe even a bit rebellious identity could help build a strong personal brand or, carve out an unconventional career path today.
And Branson himself definitely embodied that difference. His ambition didn't stop at music. It literally took flight.
Onto airlines, yeah.
The Virgin Atlantic story is almost legendary now, isn't it? That whole born out of frustration thing.
The canceled flight story.
Exactly. His flight gets canceled, so instead of just waiting around, he charters a plane himself. And then this is the brilliant part. He grabs a blackboard and sells tickets to the other stranded passengers.
Classic Branson, turning a problem into an opportunity on the spot.
His motivation seemed pretty straightforward. People just deserved a better airline experience, something more human maybe, which led him to take on giants like British Airways.
Huge established players.
And he always said they won not by being bigger, but by genuinely caring about customers and doing things differently. Was it really that simple, though, facing that kind of competition?
Well, simple might be underselling the challenge, but it was definitely consistent with his whole philosophy. This airline venture really cemented his core beliefs. Be different, care about people, don't be afraid of a challenge.
Okay.
He has this fundamental view that you should focus first on solving problems, adding real value, making people's lives genuinely better. And if you do that well, the money will follow.
That feels quite different from how many businesses operate, right? Where profit seems to be the absolute first priority.
It's a very different starting point. Branson's approach is much more about the long game, build genuine value, create a connection, deliver something superior, and the financial success becomes like a natural result of disrupting things positively, not the sole driver from day one.
And his dreams kept getting bigger, literally reaching for space.
Yeah, Virgin Galactic.
He talked about being fascinated by space since he was a kid, watching the moon landing, dreaming of going himself. And when he saw NASA wasn't really offering commercial flights, he thought,
why not create it?
Exactly, which is just a mind-blowing ambition. And then in 2021, he actually did it, flew to space in his own company's spacecraft.
An incredible moment.
He described it as totally surreal, very emotional, seeing the Earth, realizing humanity is one family. It's quite a journey for the boy who struggled just to read.
It really brings his whole story full circle, doesn't it? From being, effectively labeled a failure at school to achieving something that was pure science fiction not long ago.
Yeah.
It really was the ultimate achievement, like you said, proving that maybe nothing is impossible if you just keep pushing, keep trying, and that thread runs through everything. Seeing a personal frustration or desire, cheaper music, better flights, space travel, and turning it into this huge, disruptive venture. Always solving a problem, always chasing a dream, almost like he refuses to accept limitations.
And that refusal, that mindset seems to carry over into his leadership style too, which is often called unconventional.
Very much so.
He talks about leadership being fundamentally about trust. He points out that lots of leaders are afraid to give up control, but his view is that kills creativity.
Interesting.
So his philosophy is more like, find great people, give them the freedom to do their jobs, support them, and see his own role as mostly listening, encouraging, and sometimes just getting out of the way.
Getting out of the way.
Yeah.
That's hard for many leaders.
And then there's his famous mantra, people first, customer second, shareholders third.
Which sounds completely backwards to traditional business thinking.
Right. But his logic is simple. If you take care of your employees, they'll take care of your customers. Happy customers mean happy shareholders. It makes sense when you hear it like that, but actually letting go, getting out of the way. How do you think he made that work without things just falling apart, especially across so many different businesses?
That's a really good question, because it's definitely not just about stepping back completely. I think the key was surrounding himself with people who are not only experts in their field, but also genuinely bought into his core values that focus on customer service, innovation, doing things differently.
So shared values were crucial.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
His role then became less about dictating the how and more about setting a really clear, inspiring vision and then empowering those experts to figure out the best way to get there. He fostered a culture where trying things, experimenting was okay, where failure wasn't punished but seen as learning.
Right.
So while many leaders cling to control because they fear chaos, Branson kind of flipped it. He argued that too much control stifles the very creativity and loyalty you need. It really pushes us to ask, doesn't it? What kind of environment really sparks innovation? And how much control are we, actually willing to give up to get it?
And speaking of failure, we definitely need to touch on that. Because he's had some big ones.
Yeah. Virgin Cola, Virgin Cars.
Virgin Brides, even. He's been incredibly open about these ventures that just didn't take off.
Refreshingly so.
But his attitude is quite something. He says, failure is part of life, and it's only fatal if you let it paralyze you. He actually called each failure tuition fees for my education.
Tuition fees, I like that.
He said he basically laughed, learned, and moved on. No regrets. He feels like every failure added to the Virgin story proved they were bold enough to try new things. Now, while that's inspiring, you could argue he had a bit of a safety net, right? With the existing Virgin brand, his personal wealth. Is it really just tuition fees for everyone, or do you need that established success to bounce back so easily?
That's a fair point and a crucial distinction. Yes, the brand helped, no doubt. But his approach wasn't just reckless abandon. He always talks about calculated risk-taking.
Calculated? How?
He didn't bet the farm on untested ideas. Take Virgin Atlantic. He famously started by leasing just one plane. His reasoning was, if it failed, I could return it. He contained the potential downside. Reports. He had to learn to communicate things really simply and clearly.
No jerking. Exactly. And that became Virgin's style, direct, human, easy to understand. He also learned to focus on the big picture and consciously surrounded myself with people who loved details.
Delegation as a strength.
It's such a powerful thought. Sometimes our greatest struggles hide our greatest gifts.
It really highlights the value of simplicity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And smart delegation. It makes you wonder, in this super complex world we live in, maybe the ability to cut through the noise, simplify, see the main goal, and empower others who do love the details.
Yeah.
Maybe that's actually more valuable than trying to master every single thing yourself.
Yeah.
He essentially shows how to work with your brain's unique wiring, not against it, turning what could be seen as a weakness into a real operational edge.
And his vision goes beyond just business success, too. He founded Virgin Unite, driven by this belief that business should be a force for good.
Using business to tackle big problems.
Yeah, things like renewable energy, healthcare, social justice. He wants his legacy to be more than just profits. He wants Virgin to be remembered as a brand that tried to solve problems and inspire others.
A purpose-driven approach.
And he seems to really live those values, talking about family as a constant juggling act, sure, but one where he consciously tried to bring my family into the adventure, blending work and life instead of keeping them totally separate. What always strikes me, though, is his relentless optimism. It seems unwavering.
It really does.
He credits his mother again for that, saying she always refused negativity and taught him to always find a solution. For him, being positive isn't about ignoring reality. It's about fundamentally believing problems can be solved.
Core belief.
But maybe the real secret sauce, the thing underpinning everything, he suggests, is just listening. Yeah, listening to customers, employees, critics. He says listening gives you insights money can't buy. And this relentless focus on people first, on solving problems. And his journey, it's not just about building companies, is it? It's about crafting a life based on tackling huge challenges and just bouncing back.
Absolutely. His story is a great reminder that an extraordinary life often doesn't come from following the rule book or sticking to the conventional path. It comes from daring to write your own rules.
Yeah.
It's about seeing fear, not as a stop sign, but maybe as a signal to prepare better, to learn more, and then to push ahead anyway. Knowing that even the failures are just, well, those tuition fees for whatever comes next.
So if Richard Branson, the kid who struggled in school, could literally aim for space and shake up whole industries on the way, what's that impossible dream maybe you're holding back on? Thinking about your own world, what are those big frustrations, those unsolvable problems where maybe a completely different approach, perhaps even leveraging something you see as a personal weakness, could be the key to unlocking something amazing? Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the mind of Sir Richard Branson. We really hope it sparks some fresh thinking for your own journey, whatever that might be, and maybe helps you see your own challenges in a new light.